So when we designed the Teacher's Edition for thinking about psychology, we had lesson planning in mind. We know that teachers have to sit down and, create lessons for each pillar, for each module. And so we kind of we kept this in mind as we designed the materials. One thing is go back to the blue pages and start there. There's a nice summary of the pillar and the modules. And then there's also that pacing guide. Start there. But again, be sure that you're using that to match your teaching style and your student population. So important. But we do design the pacing guide to be sure that you can check off all those learning goals that you need to hit. Then the way the book is organized is it's, in pillars with these modules, and each module comes with learning goals. And one thing I really like about the Teacher's Edition is every activity we suggest is linked to a specific learning goal. So you'll see that in the little caption of the activity. It's linked to goal 2.1. So we designed this so you could be most efficient in designing your lessons. So as you're looking at a module, you can look and see, okay, as I'm hitting these different learning goals, these are the activities I might want to incorporate in there. And I would encourage you to think about some opening activities. It's a great way to get students thinking about the material, interested in the material, before you even start. Then there's a ton of activities you can do for each learning goal in the modules. There are engagement activities that are intended to just kind of connect students with the material as you're moving through. Some of these include students taking surveys or coming up with their own examples. Just anything that's going to engage them in the concepts or the material covered. There's also psychology as science activities that reinforces the scientific nature of psychology throughout, every module. And then there's some specific activities that you might want to do. There's differentiation activities, and we have two really cool ones, I think. One is to kind of help students that might be struggling with concepts, especially, we've designed it especially for difficult concepts. But there's other differentiations we put in there that are for students who might want to kind of take off that material and go a little bit deeper. So we've designed, both of those. There are English language learner activities in there to kind of reinforce vocabulary as students, because we know a best practice for English language learners is to, do that throughout the curriculum. Activities throughout. You can't do all of them. So just glance at them. Again, they're linked to learning goals. Just glance at them and pick a couple and try. And then at the end of each module, we've got some really nice closing activities. Each module includes a closing activity and a closing assessment. And that's student activities that you can do just to be sure. These are intended to be formative. So just to be sure they've got it before you move on to the next module, just to kind of see where they are. And then in the student text, there's also a summative assessment that they can take and do that. And one other thing I'd like to mention here is throughout the modules, at the end of each learning goal, Charlie and Randy include a Make It Stick feature for students. So it's just a way for students to quiz themselves. We know this is a great practice. Quiz themselves as they go along to be sure they've got it. And it's like a really nice reading check. And then all the answers to any questions in the student edition are included in the Teacher's Edition for you. So use it in your lesson planning. That's what it's there for, and it will really help you be able to be more efficient.